All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we got a little bit of good news coming out of Canelo Alvarez, and the guy that will be the co-main event against on Gervonta Davis's undercard, David Benavidez. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 168-pound division, where it appears that David Benavidez is feeling much more optimistic about a fight with Canelo, because he said it seems like Canelo's going to get that $200 million that he's looking for. So he's feeling more and more optimistic about that fight being very realistic. We will talk about that in this video, but before we do, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, support the channel. Thank you to everybody that comes by and watches the video, hits the like button, supports, and the super thanks of videos like this. Really goes a long way to being able to continue to do this channel. Thank you very much. And if you don't support me, go find another YouTube boxing creator to support. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for us to continue to have these type of conversations that people want to have about boxing, knowing that boxing is not really covered like this in this detail in mainstream media. And if it is, it's kind of like one-off things, and a lot of it is really just kind of moved by the network that's trying to sell in particular fighter. So if you don't support me, go find somebody else to support. But the people that support me, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I am hopeful because I'm a David Benavidez fan, and I am a fan of Canelo Alvarez. Unashamed fan of Canelo Alvarez. Now, although I'm a Canelo Alvarez fan, I'm not going to lie to you about Canelo. People that have called Canelo a duck, people have called him a cheat. The reason that many of these, I can't say the reason that these people are saying it is what their reason is. All I can tell you is there's things that Canelo has done that makes it hard to argue against them. And if you know me, I'm not in the business of taking losing arguments. So I have to eat, I just got to take it. When they say Canelo's a duck, when they say, hey, Canelo's out here juicing, Mr., Canelo Alvarez, things like that. Shout out to my guy, Kamal Oz. I know those things are true. And him not fighting the fights all the time that we want to see. This fight that I'm talking about in this video, Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez, is probably the #1 example of it. David Benavidez is a former 168-pound champion with the WBC, two-time, and he's still undefeated. He never lost in the ring. One time he lost because of a test for a recreational DRUG. Bad mistake, lost his title. Then during the middle of the pandemic, he misses weight. I thought that was unfair to him in that scenario, because he was training in a bubble and people were trying to get used to it. So the fact that somebody might miss weight, hey, look, I thought they should allow that to be a non-title fight. Just think they should allow that to be a non-title fight. But whatever, the WBC did what they did. And he's still undefeated. He has now beat several top fighters since then in that division. Beat Demetrius Andrade, beat my guy, what is the dog's name? Anthony Durrell, beat Caleb Plant. And beating these dudes in dominating fashion. He'll be fighting this weekend against a real tough fight at 175, because the guy he's fighting, Wojciech, is a former WBC 175-pound champion. That ain't no joke, right? So if he moves up to 175 and beats him, Man, look, dude's just one of the top fighters in boxing. I always forget to put him on my pound for pound list. I always forget. People say, what about David Benavidez? I'm like, you're right. You can take a whole bunch of people off that list for David Benavidez. El Bandero Roja, or the Mexican Monster. So obviously people want to see this fight with Canelo Alvarez. Now David Benavidez is saying, look, man, it looks like this fight could take place because Canelo Alvarez will get this $200 million, or it seems like he might get this $200 million for that fight. Now, where could that come from? It could probably come from, I don't know how it's going to come from just pay-per-view sales. Maybe it could come from pay-per-view sales, and Samson Leskevich feels like he can find the money for the fight, or Amazon might want to put up the fight, or the dude out there in Saudi Arabia who's putting on American fights may wind up putting up the money for the fight. $200 million for him. And then David Benavidez said, look, man, I'm not really tripping on the money myself. If you offer me a $5 million flat fee, I'm taking it. Man, what is the percentage on that? You know what I mean? What is 5 of, well, shoot, 2? Man, that's crazy amount of money. That is $2 million is 1%. You're talking about like an 88, you're talking about like an 87.5%. 87.5 to 2.5% split. And David Benavidez says he's willing to do it. Man, hey, $5 million raw is raw money. $5 million is a lot of money. If he can beat Canelo, it may be worth it, you know, going forward, because David Benavidez is a dude that if he beats Canelo, man, his style's going to super duper duper rise, because he lives in a place where there's opportunity for his fan base to get behind him. Unlike Dmitry Bivol, who is from Russia. You know, he doesn't have there's not as big of a Russian audience in the United States that's really amped up behind boxing. So that doesn't really translate for him like that. But it definitely would translate for David Benavidez. So I'm appreciating that he would do that. Canelo just got, my understanding is that there's a potential for him to be stripped of his IBF belt because he's not participating in a purse bid with, I think it's John Scully. Is that the guy's name? Somebody that they're trying to get him to fight, where the IBF may strip him, just like the IBF stripped him at 160 pounds for not fighting Sergey Deverenchenko. But look, man, and so therefore for David Benavidez, the undisputed may not be on the line for him, but I don't think that David would be shedding a tear, nor Canelo Alvarez be shedding a tear if that IBF belt is not on the line, because David Benavidez has definitely established himself as the number 2, if not the number 1 guy in that division. Let me repeat that. Number 2, if not number 1 guy in that division. Because I still think he's he's still undefeated. He never lost that belt in that ring. And you can't say, well, he lost the title because of the test, right? Man, Canelo Alvarez lost titles, lost belts because he got stripped, and he's also popped before a fight for something he wasn't supposed to do. So that they're equal on that. I think that Canelo Alvarez, if you offer him that amount of money for that, I mean, that's almost like, man, he can't say no. But the fact that they got the money for that fight, wow, that's a lot of money for one fight. And I hope that they are right, about it. About what they're saying about it, because I really want that fight. But shout out to David Benavidez for saying he's willing to take whatever. He said, however, he ain't taking no catch weight. He said he's not going to fight at 160. If he's up for a 168-pound fight, he said what he's not going to do is he's not going to be fighting at like 166 or 167. Said he ain't doing that. And he probably isn't going to take a rehydration clause either. But I wouldn't suspect that if you slap about 15 extra million on top of that, he may start, money ain't important, but it ain't irrelevant, you know? But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.